Hello guys, this is the advanced version of the pivot table assignment. So for this assignment, what I've done is I have generated random data from random set and then populated the data accordingly. The quantity, the unit cost, the selected appliance, brand, and the name of the salesperson are all random. So for this purpose, what I've done is I've started with a small table of 10 entries for random names, 10 entries for appliances, and random brands. As you can see here, we have some random names from the MCU here along with the brand themselves. So for the selection, I have a random formula that randomly selects one value out of this set. So for the salesperson, it will select a random value from this set and it will return the index of that cell onto this reference cell. So here you have a random value popping in. So for each of these values, we have the same formula that selects one cell out of this reference set. The same goes for random appliances. If you click on any of these cells, you'll find the formula and it will select a random index value from D69 to D78, that is this set, and it will select one random appliance and put the value back into this cell here. So you have the salesperson, the appliance, and some brands here with the same formula again. So once we're done with this, now we have quantity and unit cost. So for the quantity, I've used the rand between formula, which generates a random number between 1 and 6, as you can see right here. And the unit costs generate a random value between 60 and 300. So that gives you random amounts of the unit cost. And the sales is calculated, which is the product of the quantity sold and the unit cost of that product. So that gives you a random sales every time. So as you can see here, we have data changing on every action. So this is purely random data apart from the dates which have been selected for the month of September. So I have ensured here that the section is kitchen and home appliances and the brands and the appliances here are pertaining to kitchen and home. But if you want to have more data and different columns, so what you could do is you could add another column as a section and then have multiple different types of sections in those. That will help you create more data, and you can have a more versatile pivot table which will give you a overview of the sales of maybe a particular section or a particular brand and so on. So these are the two pivot tables in place. The first pivot table is basically the amount of quantity of a specific appliance sold versus who sold it and the quantity right here. It also gives you a grand total. So as this is random, if you see here, this data wouldn't be pertaining to the last change. So to get the latest data, right click and click on refresh, and that will give you the latest data right here. So this will give you an overview based on databases for a specific person and the appliance sold and their individual quantities. So this is for the first pivot table. The second pivot table right here will give the manager an overview of the sales of a specific appliance by a specific company. So if someone wants to know who sells the best dishwashers and like which is the brand that is most famous among the customers for dishwashers or microwaves, so a manager could just generate this chart and then check. For suppose if he wants to check cookers, so he goes into the cooker section and sees which one has the maximum amount of cookers sold, and that is Panasonic. So right here we have the data from this huge chunk, and it gives you an insight as to who is the maximum seller of cookers or any other electronic appliance for that sake. So another example could be blenders. So IFB is the maximum seller of blenders for this data set. So the more the data, more better and more versatile the analytics you get from the data. So this is how pivot tables helps you in making the data more readable and helps you get an overview of the whole shop or the whole sales report.